Alright, we're going to be making a UI for Ark. We're using the dev kit version 206.2, and we're going to start with creating a directory and call it test UI. We're going to go into our generic mod directory. We're going to copy those over to the test UI. And we're going to wait for the dev kit to decide it wants to catch up. Which it may or may not do sometime this century. Alright, so there they are. Next thing we need is we need to attach this to the player pawns. I've already done a mod, so you should only have 3 if you've never done one. I'm just going to make sure that I grab the right ones. Drag them to your test UI. And again, wait for it to figure out what it wants to do. Alright, I'm going to import an asset. You don't have to do this. This is just my background image, to kind of something to put the text and everything on. And we're going to start renaming everything. I like to name everything with my mod name just because it makes it easier to find it in the lists. Alright, now we need to create a user interface, so we're going to go right click, user interface, widget blueprint. Call it something like test UI blueprint. You can't name it the same as the level. And we're going to double click that. So first thing we're going to do, just for a test, we're going to slap an image onto the canvas panel. I like to rename my stuff. We're going to size it 1280, 720, minus 640, minus 360, and we're going to Z order that -1. I'm going to go to the brush, I'm going to grab our UI, and we're going to drag it on top, just like that. You can change colors, play with all that crap if you want. You don't want to put an image up. I like the image better, just my personal preference. So I'm going to save that and compile it. And close it. Next thing we want to do is go, no, not the female, we don't care about the female. You'll have to do what I show you to do with the male to the female for it to work on the female, but there's no point in me showing you twice. Alright, so this is the initializing code. You can do it on begin event, but if you do, when the models are loaded for create character, it will continually load the UI, so it'll load it first for when the male guy pops up. If they pick female, it'll load again, and then when you create the character, and it puts the character on the screen, it'll load it again. There'll be 3 of the damn things, and the way I do it, they're not easy to close. So you don't want to do it that way until you figured out how to make it only open one instance. So we're going to do it on a press. You're going to do an =press just for a test. I will figure out how to do it with on begin, but didn't figure it out for this tutorial yet. I've only been at this for a couple of days. So we're gonna go from pressed. Oops. There. And we're gonna get the owner controller. It's gonna tell us the controller of the person who owns this player, basically. And from there, we need to create the widget and deal with the editor's BS. Alright, owning player, class, alright, then we want to add this to our viewport. Sometimes you got to turn that off. I just think that's dumb, but whatever. And we want to. That's the target, the blueprint to the viewport. Then from there, we want to go from the owner controller, because this is the easiest way to get the next box to show up. Show mouse cursor. Set it to true. And then, I don't know if you really need this step, I'd put it in anyway. Set input mode UI only. Lock the viewport. Set our widget. Set our controller target. So that basically should be that. Alright, we're going to close that. I'm going to open up the primal game data. Pick our test mode. Alrighty. Now, nothing's going to happen unless we set our genders. So the male needs the male test UI. Female needs the female test UI. Save, compile. One thing we didn't do that I forgot, this is very important, we have to parent to class. So file, reparent blueprint, and wait for it. And we're looking for primal UI. This will crash your game, it'll crash your editor if that's not set. So now we're going to go over into the world settings just for testing. Click on our primal game data. Click on our test UI. And we're going to hit the play button. So we hit our equal sign and we get our little pop-up. Alright. So we're going to go back into our test UI blueprint. We are going to use a scroll box. I hate when it closes that. Copy the scroll box. We're going to call this welcome info. Then we're going to size it. Let's go 620. Position minus 630. Let's Go minus 310. And let's take a, oh, let's set the Z order. Let's just set it to 1. And set horizontal. Alright, we're going to grab a text block. Sorry for the background noise, nothing I can do about it. Alrighty, in our welcome text, we're going to go to where it says text block. And you can type just about anything you want in there. I have this pre-made. Basically what it does, it exceeds the scroll box and you get that little scroll bar. That's all it does. Then we are going to get another scroll box. I'll name it mod info. In this box, what I did was I put my settings on my server, what mods I have installed, and what those mods add to the server. So when players log in and they go, what does your server have? You just tell them press F1. Because what I did, I used F1 instead of equal sign. Problem with F1 is I find in the editor it doesn't work. So you make sure it all works. I use the equal sign, and then when I know it all works, I switch it over to the F1, and it'll work in the client. But in the editor, it doesn't grab F1 for some reason. We're going to take another text block. Call it mod text. And we're going to make this 600 again. 600. And we're going to position exit at minus. Nope. And 30. Alright, so that puts 2 vertical scroll boxes. We're not going to bother putting anything in here. Just because we'll see it working over here. Apparently I didn't set the height right though, but there we go. Alright. So that is our 2 scroll boxes and our background image. Now we're going to throw a text block on there just for fun. Call it title text. We're going to set it 60. No. Let's try 40. Size 700. We're going to center align it, and we're going to say welcome to our test community. And we're going to go minus 350 for center, and then minus 350 for height. And we're going to go into style, font, draw scale 1. And it's not quite right, so we're going to go minus 360. There. So we now have a community. So then we're going to grab another text block. We're going to throw it on top of the panel. This one we're going to call use text. We're going to style it, font it 0.4. Make it 20. We're going to set order it at 2. Doesn't matter, we had our background at 0. We're going to center vertically. Oh, not center vertically, justification center. Don't need it highlightable. And we're going to set it. Oops. Let's take it down to 330. And let's say right about there. we're going to tell it that. We're going to resize it because it's not big enough. And just for fun, where did we color? That's obviously not it. Font, there we go, I think. Color. No, that's not working. I got it working on mine somehow, but I made it green. Whatever. Let's try this one. Yeah, there we go. So under appearance, we can set it green. Oops. Press F1 anytime to view. You can change colors of this, that, doesn't really matter. One thing we do not do by accident was auto wrap text and turn off highlightable on the welcome text. So we got that much. Now we want a button. This button we'll call button close. Just from experience, we're going to size it at 40. And we're going to minus 50 it, half its width. I'm going to take that down to 3. 315. Now it doesn't say much, so we're going to grab a text block, throw it on top of the button. I'm going to call it close text. And we're just going to type close. Go back to the button close, and we're going to add an on clicked event. From here we're going to remove from viewport. I'll link that up. And set game only. Save it, compile it. Now, if all works well, if I didn't screw that up, we will hit the play button, hit the equal sign, and we get our press F1 anytime to view. Our scroll box works. Hit the close button, and it's gone. Absolutely excellent. So, I'm going to load the test UI level. I don't want any of that. And we're going to give it a minute to decide it wants to load. And we're going to set the game mode, override, and the primal data, and clear the island. That will absolutely just destroy your system. And you don't want it there when you build the mod anyway. We're going to save the map. Just for giggles, we're going to test it. Everything works as intended. And from there, you just cook it. Test UI, cook the game mod. It'll take forever. Upload it, view the item on the Steam Workshop, and subscribe to it. And then you should be able to play it in your first person or your or your server. There is a downside to this. If a character already exists either in your first person or on your servers, this will not work initially. Players seem to retain the old blueprint, so even though they've logged out, logged in, the old player male or female is still on that actor. You have to kill that actor off for it to work. This caused me a lot of grief. I'd be like, well, I did what I thought I had to do. I hit F1. It didn't work. What the hell? And I would play with it for like 10 hours straight. Nothing would work. And then I would accidentally die, and then all of a sudden it would work. It loads these blueprints, it seems, when it loads the new player actor, and then it saves the old blueprints, and I think it's terribly inefficient that way, but that's what it does. So if you do all these steps and you get into the server and you hit your equal sign or whatever key you happen to set to be pressed and it doesn't work, first kill yourself off before you post any comments, and then try it again. Hopefully this works for you.